he's somebody that the other team's got to defend. He's somebody that the other team's got to understand where he is and make sure they get him off the board. He just can't allow himself to be boxed out easily. I was with him. It was the Clemson game. He was 1 for 8, 27 minutes.
This is a little bit off topic. There's been a couple instances recently in the ACC of coaches blowing off press conferences, like media availers. Jim Boeheim did that last year. After we played at State, and Rick Pitino did it at Kentucky, would you ever imagine yourself doing that? And kind of what's your opinion on just your responsibility to talk after games?
You know, I got mad one time in Kansas, one of our players that wouldn't talk to the press because he talked to them every day one time we won. So I blasted him in front of the team, never had that problem. And so, you know, I'm not criticizing anybody else, Rick or Jimmy or anybody. They've got their own reasons to do what they do. I've got my own reasons to do things I do. But no, I don't think I'll ever do that. And yet, who's had the biggest slip-up of anybody in college basketball history is me. You know, after the national championship game in 03. And I told that girl not to ask me questions and the whole bit, and she did, and nobody screwed it up worse than that was. But, you know, I said this to Steve the first time I ever came here. I'll do everything I can to help you guys do your job, as long as you don't have hurt me from doing mine. And, but no, I can't fault. I mean, Rick's got his reasons, Jimmy's got his reasons. Different people do things for different reasons. And shoot, they've both been around the business a long time. But you asked the question, can I do that? I'll say no, but maybe Steve and I'll get together and make a bad decision.
What effect do you expect Coach Boeheim's return to have on this Syracuse team?
I think they'll be fired up. I think we'll get a fired up crowd. I think we'll get a fired up team. And Jimmy's really struggled with this. I talked to him in the summer. I told him, y'all to go to Maui. You know, sat around, got him out. He said, well, it would look bad. You know, I mean, Maui, they're not going to let you talk to the team, talk to the coaches, go to practice. I'd get the heck out of town. But no, I think he'll be fired up. And I wish he'd come in another game. There's no question in my mind. But I'm happy to see him back because it's what the guy wants to do. It's what he enjoys doing. That's on his professional side. That's his life. And so I'm glad to have him back.
It's a little off topic, but you were on the staff of the 83-84 team that went up there in December and took apart a pretty good Syracuse team. One of the writers at the time wrote that the Syracuse crowd was kind of sitting back and watching you guys as if they were watching a symphony because of the way you were dissecting them, basically. How much do you remember about that game?
I was trying to remember the guard's name, Sonny something, made one from the center line.
Sparrow?
Could be.
Something like that.
No, something. Can't remember his name, but he made one from center line at the halftime buzzer and cut it to 25. And the crowd went crazy, that kind of thing. But we had, you know, we did have Jordan and Perkins and Daugherty and Smith, so we were pretty good. I remember running the trap against Pearl Washington. Coach Smith asked Kenny if we should run the trap against Pearl. Sometimes guys like to be double teamed and they just eat you up. Kenny said, no, I think we ought to trap Pearl. First time we ran the trap at him, Pearl threw it about the 15th row in the bleachers. And he looked at his teammate and said, you need to do this. The ball was 70 feet over the guy's head when it went out of bounds. But we were a really, really, really good team, and we were really an experienced team. If you ask me, one of the best 5 teams I've ever been with, that's got to be one of the teams, and we didn't even make the Final Four that year because of college basketball injuries and everything else. But no, I remember the game. God, I wish I could remember that guy's name. He made one at the center line to have Syracuse. It may not have been 25, but we had a pretty sizable margin and the crowd went crazy.
When you look at this game tomorrow against the Cuse, 8 o'clock game there, what concerns you when you go against this team again?
Benajay, Trevor, Malachi, Lighten, all those guys making threes. It's a strength of their team. They've made more threes than any team in the ACC. Their zone. Play zone, but it's really active. They have more steals than any team in the ACC. The guy on the bench knows how to push those buttons. So I worry about everything. You know, I don't care about their record, our record. I remember the last time we went up there, but they beat us by 306. And it was something close to that, it felt like. And so we know that they're not desperate, because you shouldn't use those words. It's just a basketball game. But as far as basketball games go, when you're 0-3, you're desperate for a win. concerned about everything that they do. We've got to be able to attack them early, we've got to be able to attack their zone when it's set, we've got to be able to figure out a way to get the ball inside and get offensive rebounds, and we've got to figure out a way to guard them from three-point line better.
Coach, one more about Bryce. Have you ever had to apologize to him for riding so hard?
No, never even thought about it. No. What was it? There was the thought for Davis 3 or 4 days ago, of wanting everyone's life is for somebody to make you be the best you can be, something like that. And, I mean, even at, Brooklyn, when I was so mad at him, I was mad at his actions, I wasn't mad at him. You know, I've apologized to some guys before, but not for pushing them, and that,
Well,
I can assure you that would not be a thought.
I'm saying, in terms of maybe thinking that you went too far with it.
No, because I don't think I have gone too far. Now, sometimes I guess you can step over the line. I'm sure I have. But still, if I'm trying to help you be the best you can possibly be, it sounds like an Army commercial. If I'm trying to do that to you, then I don't think that needs any apology. And I mean, he's such a wacko kid. I mean, he comes in, I start laughing.
42-28, half, Sonny Sparrow.
Sonny Sparrow, 42-28?
Yeah.
Sonny was right, Sparrow was right. I just remember he's about a 6'5", 6'6" kid, threw it in, and sort of cut it to 14.
There was enough to be quick, so.
Yeah.
Anybody else? We got Bryce Wright.
Oh, Bryce is coming in.
Bryce